We are going to talk about how to apply unrealistic color schemes to shading realistically. And the first thing that you're going to need to do is know what color scheme you're using and what three colors are in your color scheme. You'll follow along using your color scheme, but I'm going to be using for this example a triadic color scheme of yellow, blue, and red. Choose one color in your color scheme. I'm going to go ahead and start with red. We're going to use that first box in the upper left-hand corner where it says color. And in there, I'm just going to put pure red, layering my red color pencil, going one way. Then to get an even texture, I'm going to go the opposite way, really filling in corner to corner. The harder you press, the more pigment that's going to come onto the paper. But the best thing to do is to layer slowly, going one direction and another direction using the side of the pencil. The next box says tints. A tint is a color plus white, but since we're using color pencil, instead of adding white, we're just going to use light pressure. Here are some examples of some different tints with lighter and lighter pressure. So take your color pencil and just lightly start to shade, going one direction and then going the other direction to get a lighter version of the color you just shaded in to the left. Next, we're going to talk about shades. A shade is a color plus black. So for color pencil, you're going to put your original color down first, and then you're going to layer a little bit of black on top. The more black you layer, the darker your shade is going to be. If you feel that your original color isn't as vibrant as you want, you can go back in and add more of that color. But the main thing I want you to take away is that you add the black second, not first. Next box is tone. A tone is a color plus gray, otherwise known as a color plus its complement. So red's complement is green. So this chart indicates that the more green we add to our red, the more brown it's getting in the center. So what you're going to do is place your original color down. In this case, I'm using red. And then just in the same way that we did with black, I'm going to use my green. So I'll put red first and then put green on top. If you're using blue, you'd use orange. If you're using purple, you'd use yellow. If you're using one of the tertiary colors, go across the color wheel and see what color is its complement. Remember that the complement goes on top. Original color first, complement on top. You're going to repeat this process with the next two colors in your color scheme. So my color scheme is red, yellow, and blue, so I'm going to repeat tints, shades, and tones for each of those colors. Whichever other two colors are in your color scheme, you're going to use those now, following the same steps that we just went over together. So how are we going to use these colors that we just made to shade something realistically? Here is a cylinder that is shaded in black and white that has light, midtone, and dark values. We are going to assign different colors that we made from the tints, shades, and tones to each one of these values in order to create our colorful portraits. Take a picture of your color grid and turn it into black and white. You should see that all the different colors you have light, medium, and dark values. You're going to choose 4 colors, one for your highlight, one for your light, one for your medium tone, and one for your shadow. Make sure to choose a highlight that is really, really light, a light that's a little darker than that, your medium should be a little darker, and your shadow should be the darkest. Circle the ones that you've chosen or put an asterisk next to them. Lastly, we're going to create our value scale. So taking those 4 colors and putting them into their appropriate boxes. So I'm using yellow for my highlight. I'm using light blue for my light. I'm using true red for my medium. And then I'm using a tone of red for my dark. So go ahead and plug those in. And if you take a camera and put it up to that scale, you should see that it's going from light to dark. If it's not going from light to dark, then maybe the order of your values is wrong. For the full value scale, you're going to just take those exact same colors, except you're going to blend them together, overlapping the seams where the colors meet, so you have one continuous value scale. So here's a finished example in the upper right corner of how to use an analogous color scheme to shade using unrealistic colors, but in a realistic way. So as long as you apply the colors that you have chosen for each of those values in the right place that they're supposed to go, your portrait will look very realistic, but it'll have all of that wonderful color on top of it. We're going to practice first on our original portrait sketches. So if you're feeling a little lost, don't worry, I'm going to help you before we go into our final one.